What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
I wish Trump would deport me.
And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake
Stop the music. Jesus. What are you guys doing over there? You're supposed to get me on top of this.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. I'm beat up, wore out, fucking tired. What are you guys doing? We are flipping a house to get it ready to rent on the 20th. I thought it was by the end of the month, like the first of next month. Apparently it's by the 20th, so that should be fun. A lot of rush and shit to do. I was painting today, wiring up a bunch of shit, scraping the floor. A lot of shit to do. You don't realize when you move, you realize how fucking disgusting you really are, right? Because you're like, oh shit, I've never cleaned behind that. I've never done that, which I didn't live there. But when anybody moves, I think the same thing happens to different degrees probably. But you're like, I've never cleaned behind that. I didn't even know that came loose. What is that? You also figure out how much shit you got you don't need. Every time we've ever moved, we've filled up a fucking dumpster full of shit. I'm not taking that to the new place. I'm not taking that nowhere. I don't know. It's been a lot of work, but we're getting there by the 20th. Mariah's birthday's the 19th. That's Monday. So the 20th is Tuesday. So we got this weekend and literally Monday, and the person's supposed to move in on Tuesday. So we'll see how that works out. What have you guys been up to? Hanging out. Killing time. I was thinking about not streaming. I am fucking pretty wore out. But the show must go on, or whatever they say. Couple things. First, meet good friend of the show. Good friend of the show. I can tell you that much right now. Facebook old lady and good friend of the show. Deplorable Dab. She's over here putting out some content, so let's see what she's got going on for old Deplorable Dab. Let me back it up, give you some audio. Putting strings on your guitar. Oh, thank you for the bits. Come on, Dab, say something. Christ, how long does it take you to start this Facebook live stream here?
Hello, good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning. As you could see, I went and voted because we have a primary. And before I go and get my hair cut, because it's...
This from 3 days ago.
Fresh in my mind. Naturally, let me lower this a bit so you don't hear that sound. I listen to 99.9, and every now and then I'll, if it's this time, I kind of thought it was later and I would miss Brian Kilme, okay? Because he gets on my freaking nerves. You know why he gets on my nerves? Because he's one of the first that went against President Trump after the 2020 election. So it never fails. Before I leave,
By the way, going against President Trump after the 2020 election means not bowing down and saying, yes, even though there's zero evidence, you were cheated out of this, sir, and we're going to get it back for you.
Stopped at my sister to say hi to her. She'll be over later, and letting her know that they gave President Trump and Elon, a big problem to go on X last night. But lo and behold, Elon and President Trump, did a great job. They won. Now it's coming across that they actually reached 1 billion people. 1 billion people. See, for me,
at least, maybe 2 billion.
and I know what people are going to say, but that's also including the opposing party. But let me tell you, for me, that's a poll, okay? That's a poll.
Okay, that's a poll.
You want to, to take it.
So when people could be fans of Donald Trump, could be fans of Elon Musk, could hate Donald Trump, could hate Elon Musk, could just be stumbled upon it, could have heard all the shit from the EU where the EU's like, if he goes wild, we're going to fucking sue you and potentially charge you. But that's a poll. That's a poll. Rasmussen did it.
But that's not why I'm on. So I turn on the radio, and here comes Brian Kilmeade. And let me tell you what, again, and why I get angry. I get angry because I'm a strong believer that these 3 years, the talk was never about the stolen election. And I told you guys.
By the way, his name is Brian Kilmeade, right? He's one of the morning guys. He's like the morning guy that's not like the Fox News, Fox and Friends morning. He's a guy with like the black hair, and he looks younger than the other guy because there's like a tall, lanky, older guy. He's like the other guy. And then there's a female. It's Kilmeade, but she keeps saying kill me.
What they're going to do. Their narrative now is, it's almost like, I happened to hear this guy come on, and I knew where it was going. He says, well, this election is, how do they put that, up to Trump? He could, he could lose, okay? It's up to him. It's going to be his fault if he loses. So I was listening to that, and then here comes Brian Kilmeade, and what do you think that jackass says? Well, that's what happened in the 2020 election, at the end.
That is what happened in the 2020 election. Again, we've identified pollsters who said, like, in 2016 when Trump won, he was very good at getting at people out that have never voted before or hadn't voted in a while. They weren't active voters, right? He brought out people that typically didn't vote or had never voted. One of the two. Like, if you don't vote for, like, 4 election cycles in a row, they consider you a non-voter, right? He brought those people out. 1 in 6, right? In the 2020, he brought those people out as well, but that was to vote against Trump, right? People who haven't voted in a long time and people who had never voted came out to vote against Trump. His own pollsters that he paid people to do this found this out, including like 30,000 ballots, valid, audited ballots from Georgia that voted for every Republican on the fucking sheet, right? Every Republican on the screen, they voted all red except for president. They left it blank. He was, 2016, he was good at mobilizing people for him. In 2020, he was very good at mobilizing people against him.
And, Trump made a lot of mistakes. See what I'm saying? Made mistakes, and I'm sitting here yelling at the...
So you can't even say Trump made mistakes. That's too far. They're over here like, yeah, that other lady sucked dick to get her job, but you can't say Trump made mistakes. Too far. This is why I'm so fucking sick of all the goddamn MAGA retards. And I can't feel alone like this. I guarantee you Trump would have more voters. Maybe it's a minuscule amount. I don't know. But it is some amount. I haven't done the polling, I guess. He would have more voters if he didn't have these sycophant supporters to where you couldn't even say, I wish he wouldn't have done that. Or I don't like how he did the bump stocks. Or I don't like how he did this deal. Or I don't like how he did with OPEC. Without being fucking attacked, because nothing can be wrong. He makes no mistakes. Jesus is giving a good old fucking reach around while he's sitting in the Oval Office. Like, what are you talking about?
Radio, you're a You're an asshole, Brian. See, because that's the narrative that they want to put out, because that's what they're going to talk about. Like, this is the election for
so far, she seems delusional, but to each their own.
how do they say that? That for, the choice is Trump to lose. You know what I mean? If he doesn't be careful, it's going to be his election to lose. You get it? And instead of coming on and saying, listen, guys, in 2020, they did everything they could. They caused the pandemic. That didn't work.
That's a fucking outright. Who caused the pandemic? Who is they? A worldwide pandemic. They caused it. They destroyed entire fucking economies. They destroyed everybody, but just so Trump wouldn't. So you think they caused the pandemic so Trump wouldn't win the election?
Then when we were coming out of the pandemic, President Trump brought the economy back. You all know, election day of that year.
He brought the economy back? Why can't I? Hold on. Let me close this and open it back up. Why can't I back up? Okay, now I can.
That didn't work. Then when we were coming out of the pandemic, President Trump brought the economy back.
The economy has not been back and is just now getting over the shit that happened with COVID, right?
You all know.
We're just now getting decent inflation numbers and capital greed or corporate greed. Inflation should be a lot better. 100%. It should be. But it's not actual inflation. If you look at the consumer price index, then inflation's down. Down before it was before COVID. Numbers equivalent to before COVID. But prices aren't coming down. I wonder why that is.
No. Election day of that year.
Don't give it away, Rob. This is Dr. J.
We knew Trump was winning. He was winning by big numbers until they decided to shut the election down and bring in all those ballots.
The election didn't shut down. They didn't bring in any ballots.
And it makes me mad because I say it. There was nothing that Trump did wrong in that election.
If you're talking about mail-in votes, yeah, they count mail-in votes the same way they count in-person votes, the same way they count absentee votes, the same way they count votes from abroad if you're in the military.
We won. He won. But you see, they...
By the way, I saw somebody going through clips the other day. Everybody, don't act like this is a surprise. Everybody knew this was going to happen weeks before the election. Everybody from Bernie Sanders, of course, the Biden team, Marco Rubio, left and right, right? Were coming out and saying that they expected a lot of in-person voting to be Republican because Trump told them not to vote by mail. And what does that have to do with anything? Anyways, that they expected a lot of that night early on to be heavily favor Republicans. And then as the mail-in voting came in, which they expected to be heavily Democrat, because they were the only people that believed COVID was real, that they expected the numbers to shift substantially. Trump knew that. Roger Stone knew that. General Flynn knew that. Fucking the left and right knew that all this was going to happen.
Want to make this, and this is what was wrong these 3 years. What people should have.
When I say inflation's down, but corporations are keeping high prices because of they're fucking greedy, right? Inflation's down to pre-COVID numbers, and then you say
__Lewis subscription. Merbird gifted a tier 1 sub to K__Lu. They have given 30 gift subs in the channel.
And then you say $130 grocery bill is nothing, isn't chump change, especially if you didn't buy any meats except fish. We are not even talking about the same fucking thing. We're not talking about the same fucking thing. Inflation's down, so prices should have come down, but corporations have tried to keep their prices exactly where they should be, or exactly where they were, because they want all these companies have record high profits.
Done was continue, whether you were getting shut out. But now they're on the radio, and this is their stupid shit. Well, if he does this, it's his election to lose, and if he does that, it's sickening. It really is sickening because they don't tell the truth. You know, I know they won't take my call because he said.
The problem is we've let basically monopolies. There's like, who had that today? Oh, I forgot to post on Twitter. I think I liked it. Hold on, it should be in my profile. We've let companies become monopolies over general sections of the markets. Here you go. This is from who is this? This is from Dave Troy, investigative journalist, entrepreneur, investor, tech pioneer, columnist, Washington Spectator, speaker, curator, TEDx Mid-Atlantic. So this is Dave Troy. But he had a good post. It says, on curbing inflation, energy prices went up during 2020 2022 because of COVID and war. The price of consumer goods went up as a result. Energy prices have now come back down. Market forces corrected prices for many consumer goods. Big monopoly producers kept prices high, leading to record profits across the board because they have no effective competition. In order for the market to work, these companies probably shouldn't be so centralized and have so much monopoly power. Discouraging monopoly price fixing helps the market do its job. Decentralization of the market is good, of market power is good. That's what it's all about. Our food supply chain has too much concentrated power in a small number of firms, and none of this has anything whatsoever to do with the price controls. So you see this with gasoline. Gasoline is very reactive, right? When there's something that happens that should shoot gasoline up, it goes up. When something happens that should bring gasoline down, it comes down pretty quick, barring the stock that they've already bought at a certain price. And we have competitors. If this station is not going to lower their price, that station will. They have pricing wars where they'll literally drop their price a penny at a time to fight each other. The problem is we have this. These are 15 companies and maybe a few others that control a majority of what Americans call groceries. And they're the same ones that have experienced record profits in the last 3 years across the board because they have little market competition. So the 15 companies are Kraft Heinz Company, known for brands like Kraft, Heinz, Oscar Mayer, Philadelphia cream cheese, and more. General Mills, they do Cheerios, Betty Crocker, Yoplait, Pillsbury, Nature Valley. Nestle, Nesquik, Stouffer's, Lean Cuisine, Gerber. PepsiCo is Frito-Lay, Quaker Oats, Tropicana, Gatorade, and more. Coca-Cola, primarily Coke. They also own brands like Minute Maid, Simply Orange, and Dasani. Conagra, Marie Callender's, Healthy Choice, and Ready Whip. Hormel Foods, Spam, Skippy, Jennie-O, Applegate. Campbell Soup Company, Beyond Soups. They've got Pepperidge Farms, Goldfish, and Prego. Number 9. Mondelez International, formerly part of Kraft. Now they're the folks behind Oreo, Cadbury, Nabisco, and Triscuit. Tyson Foods is basically all the meat you ever eat. Jimmy Dean, Hillshire Farms, Ballpark. Danone, North America, known for Danone. Maybe that's a misprint. Maybe it is Danone. It's spelled D-A-N-O-N-E, North America, but then Danone is D-A-N-N-O-N. Danone Yogurt, Activia. Kellogg's, the cereal kings of brands like Corn Flakes, Eggo, Pringles, Morningstar Farms. J.M. Schmucker and Company is Jif, Folgers, Schmucker's Jams, and even some pet foods. Hershey Company, Hershey's, Reese's, Kit Kat, and more. Mars, even though they're like a global massive company, in the U.S., they're pretty big with M&M's, Snickers, Uncle Ben's, and Pedigree dog food. These are 15 companies that, when you talk about groceries, probably 90% of what you buy comes from these 15 companies. And they're having record profits across the board. Now, they shouldn't be having record profits what happened in COVID when the prices shot up, they just moved their prices up to offset to where they're making the same profits. Let's say they're making 10%. So they were making 10% before COVID. Prices shot up to manufacture, to transport, to everything. So they raised their prices to where they're still making 10%. Now that the economy is fixing itself, global trade's back open, manufacturing prices are dropping, energy prices are dropping. Instead of dropping their prices to just make their 10%, they're setting at 60%. Because why not? In fact, there are even statements from like the CEO of Coke said, of course we're not dropping our prices. We are a premium product, and we believe that people will pay a premium price, and we will continue to enjoy these profits. That's what he said to his shareholders meeting.
We'll be back to take people's calls, but I had to go in to vote. But it's sad. It's really, really sad that the narrative that he had to put out, him and some of the jerk-off that I call him, actually saying that at the end of 2020, it was Trump that did things. This is the idiots.
Everybody always, people make fun of how many jobs I had. You know, I worked at a Little Debbie factory one time. I worked at a Little Debbie factory as a millwright on a shutdown. It was a Little Debbie factory on the other side of, in Tennessee. I can't remember. It was on the other side of Morristown. It was a ways away. It's probably like an hour from my house. Aligning conveyor belts that the Little Debbies rode on.
This is the idiots. Instead of talking about
the whole plant was shut down for maintenance. They call it the Jamboree, where everybody there gets 2 weeks off that actually works at the plant. They get 2 weeks off in the middle of summer to go on vacation or whatever. And it's paid for at least all the people that I talked to on their way out. They said that it was basically paid vacation, and all the machines are shut down. The federal inspectors come through. Mariah loves cream pies too. They shut down all their machines. Everything gets shut down. The inspectors come through, safety inspectors, all that shit. And then we do all the maintenance that they've just been like throwing Band-Aids on all year. Where they've just been patching shit together. We go back and fix it right, whether that involves welding or new parts, new components, upgrades. And it fills my empty womb. Yeah, that's what a cream pie is, Mariah. It fills your empty womb. That was some weird fucking timing on that.
How President Trump won then? And that's what's sad. And that's what drives me crazy. And they're going to do it again. They're going to have that same narrative, because that's the narrative shit. And then you don't hear people call up and go, wait a minute, Brian.
All I know is I said, Mariah loves cream pies too. And you said, and yeah, it fills my empty womb. But I don't think your womb's attached to your butthole. I could be wrong. Look, I'm not a rocket surgeon here. But I don't think that your womb and your back door have like a direct connection.
Hold it. Wait a minute, Brian. Okay? Why don't you tell the truth that Trump did not lose that election? Okay? It wasn't his fault that happened. But this
Nothing's his fault. She just got so we're expecting her to logically look at, did Trump win or lose? When earlier in the video, she was chastising somebody for saying Trump's made some mistakes. So you can't even say he's made a fucking mistake. But we're supposed to take this lady's advice, her determination whether Trump won or lost. But you can't even say that he's made a mistake.
This is what they want to do. So when the Democrats steal an election, then they turn it around to make it look like Trump did something at the end, that people didn't want to, take his vote. The election was stolen. And that's what they should have been talking for the past freaking 3.5.
The only way, like, people are blaming stimulus money for higher grocery prices. This just isn't true. if you know anything about macro, or economics in any form, there's supply and demand. The only way that stimulus money would have raised grocery prices is if you got that stimulus money and instead of buying 1 gallon of milk a week, you're like, we can splurge. Let's get 6 gallons of milk a week. And it just doesn't happen like that, right? Groceries are a staple to where you typically buy around the same amount unless you got visitors or something. But on average, you buy around the same amount. If you took your average grocery bill from every time you went shopping for a full year, it would be around the same amount of the same ingredients at the same time. If you're talking about stimulus money, unless you're going to go out and be like, fuck it, I'm going to buy 8 bags of chicken nuggets this week instead of 2. Like, that just doesn't happen with stimulus money. Now, you might blame that on other items, like luxury items, like items you might splurge on because you didn't have that money before. But honestly, a lot of people just held on to their fucking money. They didn't even spend it the way the government wanted them to.
Years or 4 years now. See? And they don't do it. This is the problem we have, guys. These freaking Republicans, because they're all in the same boat, instead of coming out and sticking to that narrative, see? Sticking to that narrative. I get so upset, you know? So listen, I'm off.
We can tell.
Now I gotta go get my hair cut, but I just wanted to tell you. So,
by the way, everybody wish Mariah happy birthday. Actually, Mariah, Lisa asked me, you're doing the thing with your mom, I guess, on your birthday day. It's a Monday. I told her we would still probably be working. If we did anything, it'd be in the evening.
people coming in now, the reason I came on now, because I went to vote, you could see, okay? Because we have a primary here. So, guys, you got to get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. Okay?
It's in 3 days.
Go and vote. But the thing that got me, I put the radio on, I listened to 99.9. I thought, I thought it was the 12. So I was a little shocked that he was still on. And I happened to catch, from the time I drove from my sister's house to the library here on Spring Hill Drive.
Oh, no, not the library.
This is what he comes out with. So I'll just tell you again. He's talking to some nut. And they use the term, this is Trump's election to lose. Do you get what I'm saying when they use those words? Meaning...
That's good for you. I don't know why you're so upset. When you say that this is such and such to lose, this person, it's theirs to lose. That means they're completely capable of winning unless they fuck up. So what Brian is saying is that he does not think that Kamala Harris can win the election unless Trump fucks up in some way.
That any little thing he does, he can lose it. It's like this is his election, but if he does something wrong, he could lose it. And then they went like this. That is what happened in 2020, and that is when I went off the rails. He said that at the end of 2020, coming to the end, President Trump did things, and you see the narrative that they put out? They don't want...
Oh, President Trump did things while he was leaving office? Who would have known? Trump grants Venezuelans temporary legal status on his way out. That's weird. Trump White House was warned sanctions on Venezuela could fuel a migration to the border. Trump, in final parting shot, hits Venezuela with sanctions. Do you know that analysts believe that Trump was directly responsible for the Venezuelans at our southern border trying to cross into it? I wonder if he talks about that much.
I want to say, no, Trump didn't lose the election. The election was stolen. When you have numbers on that machines that they're flipping.
How the fuck? Who in their right mind would trust this elderly lady to know what happens in a voting machine? They're flipping. They just flip them. Nothing flips. If it flipped, we would see it flip.
500,000 votes to Biden that they took away from President Trump.
They flipped 500,000 votes to Biden they took away from President Trump. Did not happen in no way, shape, or form. Show me.
And then they come in with all these freaking ballots like it's nobody's business.
You mean the ballots that were mailed in and in sealed containers, checked in, and ready to be counted? Yeah, that's not your business. That's someone else's vote.
Ballots that never even went through the mail. And then what about Ruby Friedman?
I'll give you that cream pie you love for your birthday.
Or whatever the hell her name. And
well, Ruby Freeman and her daughter, or her mother, whichever way it was around, won their cases because Rudy Giuliani lied about them, admitted that he lied about them, said that none of it was true or accurate, and he had no evidence of any of it, but it was his First Amendment right to lie about them. So if you're wondering about Ruby Freeman, they're doing pretty good because they've won millions of dollars from Rudy Giuliani because he lied about them.
Her son taking ballots and just keep running them through. Look at the bullshit they're doing.
This was all done by Trump and his cronies that convinced these people that this is true. None of it is.
To Tina Peters now. See? Tina Peters.
Tina Peters. Tina Peters. Let somebody in to see the election, and Tina Peters is out of here.
It's really, really sad. It's sad. But I get mad because who we're getting hurt by is our own
You want Botox, you're getting fat cocks.
party, okay? That's because they want to stay. They want to stay being the uniparty. They want to stay.
Now, what caused this meltdown? Brian Kilmeade, host at Fox News for their morning show, went on an interview on the radio and said, this is Trump's race to lose, guys. He's in there. He's made mistakes before, but this is his race to lose. That's what caused this entire meltdown. Trump doesn't make mistakes. Trump didn't lose.
With shutting people up. And that's sick, and that's sad. And I'm a believer in truth. Tell the effing truth of what happened in 2020. Like I said, we ended up in a pandemic. President Trump got us through with that. He brought the economy back, and he won that
No, he didn't.
election.
How did he bring the economy back? When he left office, we were still in the midst of COVID.
Until they came out, and that's why he said, watch the mail-in ballots. So, in other words, if that's the way it's going to keep happening, they're going to keep doing that until it's stopped. And the only way to stop it is get rid of the mail-in ballots. Get rid of Dominion machines.
That's right. No soldiers can vote. Nobody out of town can vote. Nobody can vote in any way, shape, or form unless you're physically there. Fuck your vote. The only way Republicans win is making less people vote. Making it harder for average, everyday people to fucking vote. That's why they're always against mail-in voting, any extended voting hours. They try to cancel voting on Sunday because that's when black people vote.
Rid of all the shit. And isn't it odd? Isn't it sad that we actually have a woman like Tina Peters, who her son must be turning over in his grave, okay? A Navy SEAL, that they're doing this to his mother, where she could go to jail for years. For years. I'm telling you now. And it's sickening to know that.
Okay, so yeah, he was a Navy SEAL, but he didn't die in combat. Like, I think you left that you kind of made that seem like he died in combat. He was at an air show, performing at an air show, and had a parachuting accident. So thank him for his service, but you're kind of elusive with the details there.
For years. For years. I'm telling you now. And it's sickening to know that. And why are they doing that? They're going after a simple woman in her 70s that's a clerk and doing what she thought was the right thing to do. And that's how you know they are effing cheaters. Because they would not be going after...
Wait. Does Tina Peters tell people that she's a Gold Star mother?
We do have Tina Peters. Is Tina up yet? Tina, I want you to, and by the way, Tina, so people know, very powerful this morning. She's a Gold Star mother. She raised a young man who gave his life for his country a few years ago at the age of 27, a Navy SEAL in defense of his country.
Wow, what a dirty fucking cunt. She's introduced herself several times as the Gold Star mother. She had it up, I guess, on her LinkedIn. Remington Peters, her son, jumped out of a helicopter over the Hudson River at an altitude of 8,500 feet with a team of parachutists around noon that day to perform stunts like carrying a huge American flag through the air and leaving trails of colored smoke in the sky. Peters wore a wingsuit and had a smoke bracket attached to his leg. After jumping, Peters' primary chute lines became entangled. He struggled to free himself for about 40 seconds, then gave up and cut away the tangled parachute in an attempt to use his reserve chute, but he acted too late and encountered another problem with the lines of his reserve chute becoming entangled with the smoke bracket attached to his leg. Without a functioning parachute, Peters plunged into the Hudson River and was pronounced dead less than an hour later after the Coast Guard and Jersey City Fire Department pulled him from the water and transported him to a local hospital. Weird way to fucking die. But she is not a Gold Star mother. Her son did not die in combat. Wow. And she's not part of the National Gold Star Family Registry either. It does not qualify to be included in the National Gold Star Family Registry.
After her, because they don't want the truth.
Yeah, it seems like he was part of a team that the military did, that he was in the military as a Navy parachute entertainer, right? He was part of the Navy parachute team. But that still doesn't register for a Gold Star family. I mean, he died in service, right? He died in the service. But that doesn't meet the criteria of a Gold Star. A Gold Star is literally died in combat. I can't believe that she would let anybody introduce her. Yeah.
To come out. And then we got these fucking assholes.
Oh my God. Dab!
Like
Jill!
Kilme from Fox.
Brian Kilme.
Fox that turned around and screwed us. I will never
How did Fox screw us? They called the election in Arizona for Joe Biden after Joe Biden won the election in Arizona, right? It was close enough to call. They have fact checkers. They have people who do it. They called it. That's how they screwed. And then they continued to peddle the bullshit conspiracy theories about the election machines. Now, they didn't originally. They didn't speak about the election machines originally. But with places like OAN and other news, heavy Trump-supporting news agencies popping up, their internal documents and text messages showed that they feared that they were losing viewerships to channel like OAN. And even though they knew that the claims about the election and the machines were bullshit, they felt like they had to do it to keep their audience. That's what the entire Dominion lawsuit figured out, including internal emails, internal text messages, hosts of your favorite show. Everybody at Fox News was talking about how it was all bullshit And Trump lost fair and square. There's nothing to do with these fucking machines. This is all bullshit. But they have to say it to keep their audience happy. That's why they settled out of court. They're about to get their fucking asshole fucking blasted open, if not.
Forget that. That's why I tell you people, stop watching them. Stop watching them.
Tucker was probably the biggest casualty of that, Tucker Carlson, and he thought it was the dumbest idea that they, in private, that they were fucking lying to their audience. Like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? Blah, blah, blah. But he still went on every night as one of the biggest advocates for Trump. That's why I don't understand why people think that Tucker Carlson gives a fuck about you. Tucker Carlson is a trust fund kid that silver spoon in his fucking mouth. He's not a blue collar worker. He's never known a struggle. He's not there for you. Tucker Carlson has never worked an honest day in his fucking life at any type of blue collar anything. He's a charlatan and a fucking con man, and laughed and joked about how stupid it was that he had to feed you this bullshit that he knew was bullshit just so you'd watch his show. Hell, get him another podcast. Fuck it. He's like mega Tim Pool.
And they're the ones. You know, what country we would have if they never did this to President Trump. You know?
By the way, speaking about Tim Pool, do you know this motherfucker has like 2 million followers on Twitter? I don't know how many are legit, how many are bots, how many are Russian, whatever. This motherfucker on Twitter is making between 3,000, 3,500 and about 6,000 every 2 weeks. Just tweeting. So between about 7,000 and 10,000 a month tweeting out his bullshit. He shared his fucking screenshot of it and was like, "Oh, it's not much, but here it is." $10,000 a month to tweet on the platform. No wonder he's saying shit like, "I'm voting for RFK now," just to get people to fucking yell at him and shit. Yes, he basically said the quiet part out loud. Again, they always do. That he is basically paid to share these things that get engagement. And the things that get engagement for his right-wing fucking audience is to suck Trump's dick. Right? His numbers went down when he tried defending Joe Rogan for being able to vote for whoever the fuck he wants to. God, he wants to be Joe Rogan. He wants to wear Joe Rogan's skin. Here they are. I'm going to show them to you. Fuck it. Pay period, August 2nd to August 16th, 5,600. July 19th to August 2nd, 3,200. July 5th, July 19th, 5,300. June 21st to July 5th, 3,189. June 7th to June 21st, 3,000. May 24th to June 7th, 5,444. May 10th to May 24th, 2,195. It really picked up in May to June. Really picked up from May to June, but it has its ups and downs. 3,003, 5,355. Before that, it was like in the twos. There was one that was almost 3,000. That was back in April. But he is literally, somebody put that. Somebody says, "So you're a paid shill." Got it. Yes. Yes. So when he says like the stupidest shit, like, I think he had this quote that he said that Trump would win in a 49 or 50 state landslide. So everybody's making fun of him. That was in 2020, right? He said Trump would win 50 states. So then he just puts out a tweet that says Kamala's going to win in a 49 or 50 state landslide. And people are like, "What the fuck?" He just needs engagement. He just needs engagement. For those wondering about X payouts, and he posts it. That's crazy. It's crazy. He's making that amount of money to be a shill. By the way, his new thing is that he's never said anything about violence or condoning violence or anything about the country falling into disrepair or violence or what. And then somebody did a Civil War counter on him. He's got like 300 fucking times in 6 months he mentioned the word Civil War on his show.
How well of a country we would be right now, but they don't want that because they hate America. These people hate America and they need to go. Not just the illegals, so should them. If they're not happy living here, they should go. But instead, they rather get a job and lie to the American people. And that's what we're up against. It's very sad. It's not that we're fighting a foreign enemy. We're fighting people in our own country. That
okay.
Freaking
like Brian Kilmeade when he says, this is Trump's, we're fighting Brian Kilmeade because he said, this is Trump's race to lose.
Why? Because in their stupid minds, they think that they're going to be ahead. They're making all this money, and just wants to be, get along, stay where you are just to get along. And that's what we have with these freaking Republicans. I can't stand them. I'm telling you now. And when this is all over, I'm not touching my status right now, okay? But when this is all over, I am going independent. I will never be a Democrat. I will never be a Republican again. And that's how I feel. And I always said, Trump should have ran on a different platform, totally different platform. And now especially, when we see, that's another thing they're doing. They're lying to the people. They call it a divided nation because they want to make it like we're 50-50. We are not. We are not.
No, Republicans are the minority. That's why you can't win a popular vote.
And the numbers of the 2020 election, they know it. And we see it now. And it's lies after lies. It's propaganda from this freaking media. And it should go down. That's who should go down. Not poor Elon Musk and President Trump trying to get through. And you know what? When they're willing to do all this stuff to President Trump and us, okay? We're the majority of the country. We're America First people. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. Why? Because we want common sense? We want common sense? We don't like all this crazy shit? We don't want this woke shit? Okay? That's why they go after us, as if we're the victim. And then all the criminals are supposed to be great. All the criminals. To go after Tina Peters, go after that other grandmother. Look at all of J6. Look at this shit.
So if a grandma murders your fucking grandson, you just let them go? Tina Peters allowed someone to break in to the courthouse using a stolen badge that she stole from a coworker to steal election data, then lied about it when it came out that the election data was stolen. She said she didn't have it. So because she's a grandma, they're going after this grandma. And?
We want common sense. We don't like all this crazy shit. We don't want this woke shit. Okay? That's why they go after us, as if we're the victim. And then all the criminals are supposed to be great. All the criminals. To go after Tina Peters, go after that other grandmother. Look at all of J6. Look at this shit. For standing up for our God-given rights. It's sickening. It's sickening.
Jessa, guess what state Deplorable Deb lives in? Jessa only game. There's a Jessa only game. You better get locked in, chat. It's a Jessa only game. Of course, Jessa wins. Jessa wins the game. She's a Florida grandma.
Crazy shit. We don't want this woke shit. Okay? That's why.
Who gives a fuck what you want? You're going to be around, what, a max 5 more years? Who gives a fuck what you want?
They go after us as if we're the victim. And then all the criminals are supposed to be great. All the criminals. To go after Tina Peters, go after that other grandmother. Look at all of J6. Look at this shit. For standing up for our God-given rights.
For standing up for our God-given rights and literally trying to beat police officers to death.
It's sickening. It's sickening. See? So I gotta go, guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. I feel energized.
Born and raised in Orlando, I think that's what she said.
You know, I feel really good because I called Brian Kilme, that freaking piece of shit. Him and Fox News. That's all they are. They want to stay in the game, and they go like the wind. They go like the wind, all of them. Shame on them. Talk to you later. I love you. Bye-bye. Love you. Bye.
Oh, yeah. Back the Blue got dropped quick. We were watching a live stream of, like, some riots and shit, and, like, everybody was like, back the blue, back the blue, back the blue, and, like, Antifa and BLM and all that shit was going on. And then some Republican groups started showing up, and then cops started treating them the same, and they fucking dropped that shit quick. There wasn't nobody that was back the blue. Nobody was black the blue on January 6th. Fuck them. They're still in our election now. It went away in a hurry. Real quick and in a hurry. What else do we have here? Tim Pool's making fucking $5,000 every 2 weeks. Cash money for tweeting. Fucking Tim Pool, dude. He's something special, I can tell you that much. He's something special. So your boy Trump came out in not so good of a video. I honestly don't think he's having gaffes. I think the mask is slipping. The mask is slipping. That's what I think is happening. I don't think he's having gaffes. I don't think he's misspeaking. I don't think we need somebody to fucking interpret for him. Like, we can watch the video and see what it says. I think his mask is slipping. And this is what he's always thought all along. I don't need you to interpret it.
Congressional medal, I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon.
So, he's talking about giving this to Miriam Adelson, who's a multi-billionaire. Sheldon Adelson, I think that's his name. A huge Republican donor, billionaire type. He's talking about giving her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and he's to one of his billionaire donors. Like, she hasn't done anything. She's a billionaire donor, and he's giving her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and he's discussing it here.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead.
So he's talking about the Congressional Medal of Honor and his presidential, and giving this to a donor, right, a billionaire donor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and saying that it's the highest civilian award you can get. That's true. That it's equal to the Congressional Medal of Honor. I think people would dispute that. But it's actually better because a lot of times the people who get the Medal of Honor, they're dead or really fucked up. Really fucked up. So this is actually better than the Congressional Medal of Honor. All personnel, whether enlisted or officers in all branches of the service, are eligible to receive a Medal of Honor as long as their actions meet the following criteria. The act of bravery must occur while engaged in an action against a foreign opposition or an enemy of the United States. Secondly, the act must be so outstanding that it can be distinguished as above and beyond the call of duty. It must involve the risk of his or her life, and it must be confirmed by at least 2 eyewitnesses. Altogether, there's been 3,459 Medals of Honor have been awarded since the award was first presented in 1863. Only 19 men have ever received it twice. There are 3 different designs of the medal, one for the Air Force, one for the Army, and one shared by the Navy and Marines. There's only 142 living recipients of the Medal of Honor, and the last action for which the medals were awarded was in 93. Well, that might not be up to date. That's probably old. But still, like, this is the Medal of Honor is a big fucking deal, right? I know that's not right. The last recipient. It was in 2024. Okay. Medal of the Honor is the United States Armed Forces' highest military decoration, is awarded to recognize American soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, guardians, and Coast Guardsmen who have distinguished themselves by acts of valor. The medal is normally awarded by the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and presented in the name of the United States Congress. It is often but incorrectly referred to as Congressional Medal of Honor. There are 3 distinct variations. There's one for the Army, awarded to soldiers. One for the branches Department of the Navy, awarded to sailors, Marines, Coast Guard men. And one for military branches of the Department of the Air Force, awarded to airmen and guardians. The Medal of Honor was introduced for the naval service in 1861, soon followed by the Army's version in 1862. The Air Force used the Army's version until they received their own distinctive version in 1965. The Medal of Honor is the oldest continuously issued combat decoration of the United States Armed Forces. The President typically presents the Medal of Honor at a formal ceremony intended to represent the gratitude of the American people, with presentations made to the primary next of kin, right, if you've passed away. As of December 2023, there have been 3,536 Medals of Honor awarded, with over 40% awarded for actions during the American Civil War. A total of 911 Army medals were revoked after Congress authorized a review in 1917, and a number of Navy medals were also revoked prior to the turn of the century. None of these are included in the total except for those that were subsequently restored in 1990. Congress designated March 25th annually as Medal of Honor Day. We watched a video of the drone footage of the Medal of Honor recipient, right? That video is insane. Hold on. From the Iraq War, there were 7 recipients. For the War of Afghanistan, there was 20. Mogadishu had 2. USS Liberty incident had 1. Vietnam War, 268. Korean War, 146. World War II, 472. Nicaragua, 2. World War I, 126. Dominican Republic occupation, 3. They got them broke down by branches here. There's the double recipients, related to recipients. Yeah, hold on. I can't believe he'd fucking say this.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version.
There's only been 1 case of a Medal of Honor recipient being recorded, and I'll show you the video in a second.
Actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's her. And they're rated equal, I have to say.
And they're rated equal. They're rated equal. Here's the let's grab it on YouTube and watch it. So all this person is married to a rich person who donated a lot of money to Trump. That's it. They're rated equal. At least she isn't all fucked up with bullets. Who the fuck says shit like this?
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's her. And they're rated equal. I have to say, Miriam.
I guess what he's trying to say by rated equal, he's fucking retarded. But like it's the highest award a civilian can get versus the highest award a military member can get. There is no rating scale to like these are equal to this or whatever, right? One's for a civilian, one's for the military, and for completely different actions, right? The president uses this as like a favor, right? Oh, you've done a lot and you don't have any scandals. You donate a lot of money to me. I'll give you one. That's very different from what happens when the military issues one or Congress decides to issue one for a military member. Here you go. This is the only video recording that we have of the actions of a person who received the Medal of Honor. It's Tech Sergeant Chapman.
Chapman, a U.S. Air Force combat controller, and the SEALs are attempting to rescue their lost teammate. You'll watch Chapman's heroic actions as he saves the lives of his entire SEAL team and then another 18 members of a quick reaction force, earning America's highest award, the Medal of Honor.
Now this is all drone footage, so we got black hot on, so everything white is snow. They're fighting in like 6 feet of fucking snow here.
Chapman and the SEALs exfil their MH-47 helicopter. John is the second individual to exit and immediately moves in the direction of the summit. He can be seen moving off to the right of the screen, alone.
There's a SEAL team, I think, already pinned down, and there's a QRF team that shows up too.
The team is taking heavy fire from every direction, as indicated by the arrows, as Chapman begins engaging targets. You can see spent cartridges ejecting from his M4. Chapman then begins closing with the enemy, forcing his way upslope in knee and thigh-deep snow.
So there he goes.
He is constantly
engaging with the enemy
as he does this. Chapman's team leader begins to close on Chapman, following his trail through the snow. The dark mass above Chapman is a fortified bunker containing 2 enemy fighters, each armed with AK-47s, who are firing down on the team in the darkness.
So this is a bunker they're shooting down on him from. There's the bunker. There's bunker 1, bunker 2, and the rocky outcrop.
This bunker will come to be known as bunker number 1. To the left of the tree and bunker 1 is another gray mass. This is a rock outcropping that came to
That's the boulder.
Be called the boulder. Between bunker 1 and this boulder can be seen the body of slain SEAL Neil Roberts.
So they just got inserted. There's already a SEAL team pinned down and 1 SEAL dead here. And SEALs are very, very, very adherent to the no man left behind type deal, right? When you're in the big regular army, it's not always possible to do that. I mean, it's a good slogan, but it's not always possible to do that. Sometimes you'll see U.S. soldiers, captured or kidnapped, or they'll find their bodies and desecrate them when you're like with SEAL teams, they take this to heart, right? Like above and beyond, doing whatever they can to recover bodies, sensitive equipment, shit like that.
The man, Chapman, and the others are attempting to recover. Chapman, still alone and closest to the enemy, pauses to engage targets as his team leader follows him, but never actually catches up with him. Chapman, on his own, now makes the decision to charge directly into the enemy bunker, despite withering point-blank fire. Chapman, now literally on top of the enemy, engages the two combatants and kills them, saving the lives of the remaining SEALs.
So right here was like one of the first, so we talk about criteria he meets. He engages this bunker by himself with two enemy combatants behind cover, and they've got this team pinned down, basically. They're only able to move over here while they're firing at these guys that are pinned down on the lower slope. He kills both of them by himself.
He does this from a distance of no more than 10 feet. These actions by themselves earned him his first Medal of Honor. He then climbs into and takes control of the bunker. Having cleared the immediate threat, Chapman is then joined by his team leader in Bunker 1. You can then see Chapman and his team leader engaging the next bunker, known as Bunker 2, which is
This is Bunker 2 over here, and then again, this is the rocky outcrop.
Situated to the left edge of the
boulder,
screen.
whatever.
This bunker, manned by a handful of Chechen and Uzbek fighters, also contains a heavy PKM machine gun, hand grenades, and rocket-propelled grenades. John Chapman is shot twice at this time in the torso and collapses, incapacitated.
So he gets shot, he's incapacitated, but something comes over him because he's not out of the fight yet.
You are now looking at a new angle, and at the left of the screen can be seen the two-man fire team and team leader on top of the boulder. Just below it is Bunker 1 with the mortally wounded Chapman.
Bunker 1.
One SEAL can be seen firing his modified M60 machine gun from the hip into Bunker 2 on the right side of the screen until he is struck by grenade shrapnel and tumbles 10 feet off the top of the boulder.
You can see him roll down the boulder here, right? And he is hit by shrapnel and rolls down the boulder. This is the other bunker here. I know it's not the greatest footage, but this is just insane what this guy does. Now he's in Bunker 1, collapsed, right, incapacitated.
At the feet of his team leader.
His team thought he was dead.
Thus setting off a chain of events that would lead to the SEALs abandoning Chapman on the summit.
So I don't think they realize that he's in that bunker incapacitated, but they have to make the decision once a guy goes down like that. They have to make a decision. They did get Bunker 1, but they got to fall back on this protected position at Bunker 2. And they accidentally leave him up there.
The wounded SEAL and the team leader can be seen conferring about
right
his
injuries.
Here.
That's team leader and the guy just got hit.
Moments later, the SEALs decide to retreat from the summit because their position is untenable in the face of continued massive enemy firepower.
So they cannot hold this position with these soldiers in this bunker. They're just going to get shot.
They can be seen moving toward the right side of the screen and passing the body of Neil Roberts. Unfortunately, the SEALs do not pass John Chapman, who is above them and inside Bunker 1.
Right here.
This angle shows 3 SEALs in a triangle.
This is a triangle here, the 3 SEALs.
The larger black heat signature is a smoke grenade. Just to its left is a donkey and dead Al-Qaeda fighter killed by Chapman. The steepness of the mountain can be seen as the SEALs begin to slide down the near sheer face.
Oh, yeah, by the way, everything looks flat from a drone footage, but it's so steep that as they're trying to walk back down, they're just sliding and falling.
The team leader, desperate for relief and now with 2 wounded teammates, asks for uncontrolled airstrikes from an orbiting Air Force AC-130 gun.
So they had AC-130 up in the air, and he calls them just to pulverize the top of the mountain.
Ship. The impacts you see are from 105mm howitzer rounds being fired onto the ridgetop in order to save the remaining SEALs. Because neither the SEALs nor gunship know Chapman is alive, he is experiencing these detonations from his position. At approximately 5:20 in the morning, Chapman recovers and begins to engage the enemy.
So all alone, under basically fucking artillery fire from a plane, his whole team's fell back. The sumbitch just wakes up. Like, this is amazing what this guy does. I mean, he's a hard motherfucker to kill. He just wakes up in the bunker and is back in the fight.
Bunker 1 is on the right side center of the screen and Bunker 2 to the left near the screen center. It will never be known what caused his incapacitation and recovery. Of the 2 rounds that originally wounded him, at least one was mortal, and at this time he is experiencing severe blood loss and shock. Despite that, he begins his one-man stand against 24 enemy combatants.
A one guy versus 24 enemy combatants.
During this time, Chapman initiates a series of radio calls, many of which are heard by a fellow combat controller and teammate of his and Delta Force operators on a nearby summit. Despite this combat controller's replies, Chapman never acknowledges whether because of damage to his equipment or himself will never be known. This new angle and footage shows Chapman at the top, identified by the green dot under the tree at Bunker 1. The lower center of the screen shows the first enemy fighter who is about to charge Chapman in the hopes of killing the American. The timestamp at the bottom shows it is now
he charges him. The red circle's charging him, the green circle.
6:05 in the morning and fully light. He's been fighting alone now for 40 plus minutes and has received more gunshot and shrapnel wounds as a result of the fierce combat. This scene shows the second of several enemy charges. In this stunning display of determination and courage, Chapman can be seen fighting hand to hand with the fighter.
He literally, the guy gets in so close, they're fighting hand to hand. Like, he can't get a shot on. He's fighting him hand to hand.
In the
mortally wounded already.
Display can be seen additional enemy moving on to the summit. But right now, John Chapman is fighting for his life. 6 minutes later, in this new shot, Chapman can hear another helicopter approaching the summit. He is in the bottom center of the screen underneath the tree and can be seen in the magnified inset box as he begins his desperate final stand to save the lives of the 18 men on the helicopter.
So this is the QRF coming.
The red dots are enemy fighters. John begins engaging the enemy in multiple directions and is rapidly approaching the last of his ammunition. The helicopter contains a quick reaction force comprised of Rangers, pararescuemen, and another combat controller. It is now 6:13 and the helicopter is short final. The enemy is desperately trying to displace Chapman so they can put heavy weapons or rocket-propelled...
So they had RPGs and shit. And if you don't know some of the stories about, like, Lone Survivor or whatever, RPG will kill everybody on the helicopter, right? If they can lay an RPG in the right area while it's trying to land, that's when helicopters are most vulnerable. When they're landing and taking off, it'll kill everybody in the helicopter. He's causing so much trouble for these enemy fighters that they can't target the helicopter that's inbound.
Grenades in Bunker 1 while simultaneously engaging the helicopter. The enemy is desperately trying to displace Chapman so they can put heavy weapons or rocket-propelled grenades in Bunker 1 while simultaneously engaging the helicopter. With the choice to save his life or the lives of his unknown comrade.
And at this point, he may have been able to just like, okay, there's a helicopter coming in. There's probably medical. There's probably people that can help me if I can just get down the hill. But instead, when he hears the helicopter come in, he decides to engage the enemy with the last bit of ammo and shit he's got, rather than fleeing back to what could be safety at the helicopter, right?
Chapman makes the decision to climb out of the bunker and begin firing in multiple directions, as can be seen in the inset. Suffering from as many as a dozen wounds, Chapman is in fact already in the process of dying. As
he doesn't know that.
Fights, the helicopter is struck by a rocket-propelled grenade and makes a remarkable controlled crash just below Chapman and the summit.
So here's where the helicopter splashes down.
Chapman, now off-screen, continues to cover his comrades as they pour out of the stricken helicopter. Some of them are fatally shot as they exit. These images, with Chapman fighting the enemy at close quarter, are the last to show him alive and in this heroic act. thus qualifying for his second Medal of Honor.
So the first Medal of Honor was he saved his pinned down team. The second Medal of Honor is he probably saved most of the guys on this helicopter.
Ultimately, Chapman would expend all but the last few rounds of his ammunition, until, finally, after 16 bullet and shrapnel wounds, Chapman succumbs when he is shot through the heart. We will never know his final thoughts or words, but what we do know is his decisions and actions single-handedly saved the lives of 23 comrades. For more information about John Chapman's amazing story and the details about this mission,
so there's a lot more details that are in this book. There's a lot more details that the military now knows that they were able to piece back together that they've got now. It's just like this is what you get the Medal of Honor for. Okay, this is the type of stuff that normal people in the army, people are like, oh, I served in the army, or even I was infantry. They don't get the Medal of Honor, right? This is above and beyond exceptional fucking kicking ass under enemy fire with a lot of times loss of life, because you have to put your life on the line for someone else. So that's why they end up getting shot. That's why they lose their life a lot of times and become recipients, is because it's an act of putting your life on the line to save or help or do something else. It's not being a millionaire Jewish guy and donating enough money to where your wife can get one. They're not equal. They're not the same. This is not. It's actually better, because a lot of those guys get shot a lot.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better, because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's very... And they're rated equal. I have to...
She's a healthy, beautiful woman, and they're weighted equal. This one's much better. On March 2002, a combined task force began Operation Anaconda to trap and destroy al-Qaeda and Taliban forces in the Shahi-Kot Valley of eastern Afghanistan. During this campaign, a small United States force fought a 17-hour battle against enemy forces on a mountaintop of Takur Gar, which came to be known as Roberts Ridge. At about 01 local time, on March 4th, Razor 3, an Army MH-47E helicopter tried to insert Special Operations Team on top of an enemy stronghold. While landing, it was hit by an RPG, rockets, and gunfire, causing Navy SEAL Neil Roberts to fall from the helicopter. So this is why they were going back. Neil Roberts was the slain one that we saw. He's like, you can see his slain body right here. It's because he fell from the helicopter after he was getting struck, and that's how he died. Neil Roberts to fall from the helicopter. With the MH-47E heavily damaged, the aircrew made an emergency landing 3 miles away. So Neil Roberts' body was there among the enemy, and the helicopter had to land over 3 miles away. Crash over 3 miles away. Combat Controller, Technical Sergeant John Chapman, a member of the team, began coordinating close air support and a rescue effort to retrieve Roberts' body. Another helicopter, Razor 4, picked up the team and took them back to rescue Roberts on a 10,000-foot mountaintop. After landing, Chapman advanced on the enemy position, killing 2 of the enemy. When the team became pinned down by fire from 3 directions, Chapman broke cover to rush another enemy position, but was killed. In less than a minute, at 10,000 feet altitude, Chapman charged a 3-foot snow-covered 16-degree slope and advanced 16 feet, engaging the enemy throughout. His actions saved the lives of the team by allowing them to break contact and move down the mountain away from the ambush. Chapman was posthumously awarded the Air Force Cross. About an hour later, another helicopter, Razor 1, arrived at a slightly different landing zone, carrying a Ranger team and 4 Air Force personnel: Staff Sergeant Kevin Vance, who was attached to the Rangers, Staff Sergeant Gabe Brown, Technical Sergeant Kerry Miller, and Senior Airman Jason Cunningham. As the helicopter landed, Razor 1 was hit with multiple RPG warheads and was riddled with machine gun fire that killed or wounded several of those on board. Cunningham immediately began administering trauma care and moving the wounded out of the burning helicopter. For several hours, and without regard for his safety, Cunningham returned fire and repeatedly moved casualties out of the line of fire. His actions to save others made himself vulnerable. However, and he was mortally wounded while carrying an injured helicopter crewman. Cunningham was posthumously awarded the Air Force Cross for this selfless act. Though hit with mortar rounds, RPGs, and small arms fire, the team on the ground continued to battle the enemy for hours. With the essential support of air power, they slowly silenced the enemy. At 2015, local helicopter arrived, and all personnel, including the dead, were taken off the mountaintop. In terms of Chapman's background, he was born in Springfield, Massachusetts, and raised in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. Chapman joined the Air Force in 1985, and after graduation from basic and technical training, he served as an information systems operator at Lowry Air Force Base, Colorado. In 1989, Chapman began training to become a combat controller and later earned his Red Beret in March 1990. Chapman's first assignment was to the 1,721st Combat Control Squadron, Pope Air Force Base. From there, he moved to the 320th Special Tactics Squadron at Kadena Air Base, Japan. In 1995, he returned to Pope Air Force Base, this time as an integrated survey program and special tactics team member with the 24th Special Tactics Squadron. In addition to the Air Force Cross, Chapman's awards include the Purple Heart, the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, the Air Force Commendation Medal with one device, the Joint Service Achievement Medal with one device, and the Air Force Achievement Medal with one device, as well as the 2 Congressional Medal of Honor. Like, these are not the fucking same, right? These are not the same. Just because, and she didn't, they're like, oh, well, she volunteered for a bunch of panels and groups and really helped out. Her husband donated enough money to get her this medal. And there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. But to come up and compare them to the Medal of Honor and be like, this one's much better because you don't have to get shot at to get it. You just have to be wealthy and know the president. The fuck?
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave
Miriam Adelson. She's, if you ever heard the name Shaden Adelson, he's like this very, very rich. Like, the only reason I know who he is because all the like Groypers and shit, because he's Jewish. He's like a multi-billionaire. It is his wife, and he's talking about how, so Sheldon has died, and he's talking about how proud he was when Trump gave his wife this. Shaden Gray Adelson was an American businessman, investor, political donor, and philanthropist. He was the founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of the Las Vegas Sands Corporation, which owns the Marina Bay Sands in Singapore, and the parent company of the Venetian Macao Limited, which operated the Venetian Las Vegas and the Sands Expo and Convention Center before selling his properties in early 2022. He owned the Israeli daily newspaper Israeli Hayom, the Israeli weekly newspaper Maker Rishon, and the American daily newspaper the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Adelson created the Adelson Foundation in 2007, a private charity focused on healthcare and support of Israel and the Jewish people. He was a major contributor to the Republican Party candidates and was often dubbed a kingmaker due to the size and frequency of his donations. So that's what they call him at the Republican Party, is a kingmaker. He and his wife, Miriam Adelson, were Donald Trump's largest donors, providing the largest donation to Trump's 2016 campaign, his presidential inauguration, his defense fund against the Mueller investigation into Russian interference, and the 2020 campaign. He was also a major backer of Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. In 2020, Forbes listed his net worth as $29.8 billion. Now, it's not him, it's his wife, but Trump's telling the story about your husband. I remember when I gave you this medal, which is better than the Medal of Honor, your husband was so proud, but all they did was donate enough money. All they did was donate enough money to get the award. Fuck Trump for saying this.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's very... And they're rated E.
They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit by so many bullets, or they're dead. And she gets it, and she's a very beautiful woman. They're equal. They're the same. They're equal. They're not fucking it. God damn. What the fuck is wrong with this dude? Like, if I had any respect, if I had any desire to support him, to fucking vote for him, to campaign, or if I had any fucking love for the man still, as a politician, as a person, as a fucking human, it would all be gone by this point. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Anyways, I know a lot of veterans have come out to speak about this. A lot of veterans are pretty upset about this. People can say they're political operatives and they're just fucking libtards or what the fuck ever, but this isn't right. Just because this is the highest honor a civilian can receive and this is the highest honor that somebody in the military can receive does not make them fucking equal. The things they did to get them are not equal. The honor that comes with them are not equal. Like, fuck Donald Trump. And that's it for tonight. That's what I'll end up on. Fuck Donald Trump. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Break Confessional. Support the show if you can. A lot of people have been asking me about how to get like a gifted sub. I've had a couple people over the last couple of days how to get a gifted sub on Twitch. You just have to be on Twitch. So, like, you watch on Twitch, you might see ads if you're not a subscriber. But when they gift subs, a lot of times they gift them to random people, and it just randomly picks people that are in the chat. So if you're on Twitch watching and somebody gives subs, you're just as likely to win one as someone else. You can specifically give subs to someone, like if I wanted to give one to Dr. J, or you can just put random subs and whoever gets them, gets them. But you have to be watching on Twitch or it won't give it to you. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Fuck Trump and the Adelsons. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Support the show. We're offline at coldbeer.fund. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Consider supporting the show. That's how we pay the bills. Coldbeer.fund. There's a bunch of links there. That's how I pay for everything. Keep it going. If you enjoy it, if you get some entertainment out of it, a laugh, just enjoy watching or make fun of me. I don't give a if you hate it, but watch it all the time. It's cheaper than cable. See you guys.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit.
Where my true believer?
Y'all need Jesus.
Praise the Lord, head to the extreme.
All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Have a good night, guys. See you on the next one. I'm going to go home and eat and get some rest. A couple more long days, and the rental property ought to be flipped for my boss, and then I'll be back in here earlier, hopefully, and less tired.
Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to